And we'll see what positions we're going to have in just a couple of seconds. Show, why don't you go ahead and do the player shout-outs?
All right, well, we're just loading up, getting ready to jump into the modified MLG Shakur's Plateau. We've got KawaiiRice picking yellow. I like that. We've got DDE picking blue. And okay, here we go. So we indeed have cross positions. As everyone knows, it happened a while ago on the new Shakur's Plateau. Horizontal positions yet again available as the map's been rebalanced. Spawning in the bottom left, wearing that Fnatic MSI tag. Yellow Terran, I like it, is KawaiiRice, and his opponent saying have fun cutie, and the blue Terran is going to be 6jax DD.
There's a little bit of banter between the two players. I actually did not see, or I have no idea what KawaiiRice is actually talking about here. Sometimes you really never have a clue what the players are talking about. But jumping back into this game, cross positions, we'll have to see how this is going to factor in as both players. A little bit of a difference here. KawaiiRice building his first depot at the ramp. And we see DDE building it next to his command center. This might just mean that KawaiiRice maybe wants to go for a complete wall off and do some tech. And DDE might be going for more aggressive style here. We'll have to see. Ooh, a very, very early gas from DDE. You don't see it just yet from his opponent.
Yeah, so this is a build that for a while, before the Blue Flame Hellion Revolution, we saw Korean Terrans specifically going for this refinery before barracks. It gets your factory up marginally faster. I want to say it gets it up about 10 seconds faster than if you go barracks first, and that allows you to say you're not going to need Marines in the early game, so you might as well tech towards factory. And a lot of Terran players these days have been following this revolution and going refinery, but KawaiiRice is taking it a step further, going double refinery, and that is just wacky.
So we'll talk a little bit about this now. TVT, what are your thoughts? We talked about Tau in Anaheim. We just had nonstop Blue Flame Hellions almost across the board in all the matchups, but especially in TVT with those Korean Terrans. What are your thoughts on TVT as the matchup right now?
Well, I think a lot of players are following suit in what the Korean Terrans shown there. Kind of the bread and butter right now is switching over to mech, and I have no problems with that whatsoever. And excuse me, was that a canceled refinery, or am I just stupid and that was a second barracks out of KawaiiRice? Because that is strange to me.
I believe it was just a one racks, pretty standard opening. He did build the racks on the north of the right refinery, so I think he only had one.
In my old age, I'm getting crazy. But here we see yeah, it's all right. We see the second factory going up, and this is why we see players going for this build. We can see their gases are about identical, but DD already has that factory well under production. We can see a tech lab coming for KawaiiRice, rallied to his ramp. So let's see if he gets a Reaper out of there. It should probably be a Reaper, and indeed it's going to be. So that allows him to just scout and see exactly what's going on. Out of these two openings, I feel like objectively, DD's is just better. I like the way he's sacrificed a little bit of early defense, saying he doesn't need that, and has just gone straight for the tech. And I think this is going to be the evolution of TVT moving towards this kind of style.
Uh-oh, we did just have an SCV slip by two Marines at the ramp of DDE.
Sloppy.
Did give up, yeah, a little bit sloppy play or sloppy control there. So KawaiiRice actually knows that these Hellions are coming. He didn't also see the starport. Only saw one refinery, but that is not what you want to have happen, especially when you're doing some tech like this. If we jump over into KawaiiRice's base, he's actually going for that one racks expand, now adding on the second and the third racks. Trying to find out where that Reaper is. Actually not using it just yet to go across the map, but now we see it. And here's a little bit of an attack from DDE with one Hellion and 3 Marines.
Yeah, I think especially with this Marauder coming out, KawaiiRice will be fine, but this is nice for DDE just to assert himself on the map, take a little bit of control. I like that KawaiiRice delayed with that Reaper. There was no reason to take it and sacrifice it before the SCV got in there to see what was going on. He got a lot of valuable information out of there, seeing how quick the starport was going up, and it's indeed going to be a Banshee coming out of DDE. Now DDE charging up the ramp. There's a Marauder and 2 Marines have controlled right. KawaiiRice should be okay. He's trying to dance back and forth. Red Flame Hellion going to move in and snipe a little bit. He's getting access. Going to target down the supply depot. I like that choice. That's actually going to cause a lot of problems for KawaiiRice if he lets that go down. Now, switching targets. A little bit curious there. Going to get the Hellion in to start to go to work on these SCVs. And KawaiiRice taking a beating early on. Is he going to lose the depot? Yes, looks like it will burn down. Maybe.
Oh, and he does actually lose the depot. You have that Hellion still doing some damage there. Not sure how many actual kills it got. If we go into the units kill tab, we see 3 workers, 4 KawaiiRice, and 4 total killed there. That Reaper actually snuck in the back, I believe, during that attack and actually killed quite a few SCVs there. So pretty, I guess, even right now for both of these players with that last attack. But there is a Banshee coming cross map. We don't have cloak, but
KawaiiRice has decided to go for combat shields rather than stim, so he may have a little bit harder time than he did before dealing with this Banshee. That's going to give him an extra hit against the Banshee, though, so that's always nice to have in your toolbox.
See, here's the Banshee. It did kill one of those Marines. He's trying to sneak in. The missile turrets are going up for KawaiiRice. Is he going to commit with this attack? Doing the old scoot and shoot. About half HP. Does get another kill. Could possibly get another one with that half HP Marine. But very, almost kind of passive play with this Banshee in a sense that a lot of players will just go full on attack. He's actually skirting around the sides. Does not want to get hit by that missile turret whatsoever. And now it looks like he might just move over here to the natural and score some kills on the SCVs there.
Well, this Banshee is serving a different purpose than a Cloak Banshee. The Cloak Banshee's intention is, intent is to get in there and actually do a lot of damage. We can see with no Cloak on the way for DDE, he wants to just use this kind of like a flock of Mutalisks, keep KawaiiRice in his base, take the pressure off of DDE while he gets his expansion up. He's got the second Banshee, so that's going to allow him to be annoying and do this flanking maneuver, which we can see going on now. And KawaiiRice is feeling the pressure a little bit, not reacting perfectly. Now it is natural going up, gets a lot of hits on that Banshee. That's not what DDE wants to be doing with these.
And there are 2 Banshees right now. We see split forces, other Marines, and DDE. Oh, he looks like a miscontrol there. The southern Banshee, it is lost to those Marines. Now at the northern Banshee, it's very close to actually dying to this missile turret as the SCV is going to come and try to finish it. Does actually go down with that shot from the missile turret, so the Banshee attack has been belayed, Chill.
Yeah, and let's see KawaiiRice using his scan on the main base of DDE. He goes in there and sees 2 barracks and a tech lab on the factory. Sick, good luck, have fun. Okay, that's kind of a strange... You hear of people with bad GG timing, that's bad good luck, have fun timing right there. But DDE going for kind of the standard, more old school style where he's got 3 racks to get those Marines out. That gives him a very mobile style with the tanks to deal with anyone who's going heavy Marine style himself. KawaiiRice kind of following suit, so they're comfortable playing this style. It's not bad, it's just, it's not, you know, trendy.
Right, right. And I think we might start seeing a pretty slow push here in just a couple of minutes from DDE across the map. He is getting some medevacs out. However, there's not a reactor on that starport, so they are going to be slowed a little bit. Second factory going down for DDE. Looks like he really wants to ramp up that tank production, or he might just be adding on some Hellions into the mix, as they do fare quite well against those Marines, especially if they were Blue Flame. And now DDE is going to be pushing across the map. He's going to use this 1 medevac to, of course, scout a little bit further than those tanks can actually see, but they will be able to shoot as far as they want. And this is not looking too good right now for KawaiiRice. Siege just now finishing, but there's only 1 single tank as we pop open the unit tab. 47 SCVs for DDE and 41 for KawaiiRice. Now we're about to see a big attack here from both players.
KawaiiRice gearing up to deal with it right now. I'm not sure I like that, but Marines are actually incredibly good when spread against tanks, so he's going to be able to move in, try to flank, and try to take out these tanks. Tank's doing a lot of damage. There's an SCV repairing it, but now he's going to be able to kill all of the tanks. It looks like DD actually going to get the better of that in terms of cost efficiency and in terms of unit efficiency, but KawaiiRice has got a little bit of breathing room for himself. He's a little bit off kilter here in terms of his resource income. If you look at how much gas he's stockpiling and look at what he's producing, the majority of it is Marines with just 1 factory tanks, and he's just stockpiling that gas. So that's something he really needs to take a look at. Meanwhile, on the DDE front of things, he's got a second factory, so a more well-balanced production here out of DDE.
Yeah, we see dual tank production there, as well as a ton of racks now, going up to a total of 5. A drop coming in with 6 Marines. I believe he does have stim upgraded, so they will be able to kill quite a lot of SCVs. KawaiiRice actually moving a Marine cross map to probably be able to see if there's a 3rd up just yet, but he will not be finding out anything. Also DDE doing the same thing. Wow, this is actually both players just copying each other identically, as they are both going for a drop here in each other's main, with that medevac. However, there are only 6 Marines for DDE and a total of 8 for KawaiiRice. And DDE is actually going to engage in the center here with a couple of Marines. They're going to be chased out. And here's the drop coming in from DDE, but at the same time, there's still another drop. And oh no, the Viking is scouted up here at KawaiiRice. Is he going to be able to kill this medevac before it drops, Jill?
I think he will be able to. Final shot, no, he flies away. Meanwhile, DDE has stimmed and moved into the main base of KawaiiRice, starting to target down those SCVs. Now he realizes there's nothing left to kill, so he's going to go for supply depots. That's obviously not the primary target, but he's going to be able to take that out, so that's very nice. Meanwhile, KawaiiRice still has that medevac at the trap, essentially, at the northern area of the map. DDE is going to have to fly back and deal with that, and this medevac is going to get taken out by KawaiiRice. DDE taking a marginal supply lead here, 112 to 96. I like what KawaiiRice was trying to do there, more so than what DDE was trying to do. DDE's was just a drop, just dealing damage with the drop. KawaiiRice was poised for this 2 flank attack. He wanted to drop while driving the main troops in, but it just didn't work. That nice Viking from DDE driving that away.
Uh-oh, a big push here from DDE with 5 tanks, handful of Marines. They're about to meet in the center. It looks like KawaiiRice will be falling back to get control. This is El Naga Watchtower. See the siege right behind the bushes with a handful of those tanks, and a stem on every single Marine there in the center from DDE. He's going to have to use a lot of that energy from the medevac to go ahead and heal up. But right now, if we look at the supply, it's 120, almost 130 for DDE compared to the 115 of KawaiiRice. This is going to be a really hard attack to engage into. And Chill, it's looking like we're going to see both players just kind of split the map. As here's another drop. It is that drop that was not cleaned up from DDE. Taking out a handful of Marines, taking out that SCV. Now he's going to kill the sensor tower. Maybe not, just leave it alone. He's going straight for the SCVs that are in the main.
A little bit of miscontrol as he runs forward on move command and gets picked up by a lot of Marines here. So he's doing a little bit of damage, KawaiiRice was, but not as much as he potentially could have. Nice to deal with that sensor tower and that turret ring, just shutting it down before it even starts. Both players have taken their third base in different positions here. KawaiiRice trying to go vertically, whereas DDE is trying to stick everything nice and tight together, taking that pocket inside expansion. We've got DDE scouting for an expansion, trying to drop on the top left, dropping hidden, and then he'll stim and run over. KawaiiRice should be able to deal with that pretty quickly. He's got a mobile force in the form of a lot of Marines and medevacs.
So here's something that's actually remarkable that I learned at the Blizzard Invitationals. We do have a drop coming in from DDE at the third base. It's going to kill quite a bit of SCVs. Wow. Is he going to be able to get every single one? No, it is not. But Chill, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but DDE, if you go and look at his binds, has none of his buildings bound. And this is the way that he plays.
Wow.
If you go look at his Nexus at the natural, he has 200 energy on it. So that's not the greatest thing. I mean, that could be 4 mules, that could be a scan and 3 mules. I mean, there's a bunch of different combinations there, but the energy really needs to be used, Chill.
You know, now that you mention that, that's insane, because looking at his money, it's low, and looking at his buildings, there's nothing queued deep in there. So
it's very StarCraft 1-esque. Really,
yeah, this is like Brood War styles. Like, this game's too easy. I'm gonna make it more difficult on myself.
Yeah.
And even his units, he's only got 3 groups of units. One of them is a single Marine. The other ones are tanks and a couple Marines. Now trying to drop in. We've got a scan. Gonna shut that down from KawaiiRice. And you know, the way the game is looking is that DDE feels no pressure. He can freely take his fourth, and it's going to be very, very difficult for KawaiiRice to deal with that.
You see the army of KawaiiRice going up here. Got to clean up that drop that a lot of those units were stemmed, but not hold up. Oh, and he does get the medevac sniped with the stem on all of those Marines. But in the center of the map, we see DDE fortifying a ton of tanks, putting some missile turrets up, the Marines in the backfield. He's essentially saying you're not crossing the middle of this map unless you actually confront me with this huge army of mine. I'm not sure when or how KawaiiRice wants to engage that. Typically, when you see Terran players do these type of builds, Banshees actually fare quite well, but it looks like KawaiiRice is going to utilize these destructible rocks up here. He might just be elevatoring up into the base of DDE. It looks like DDE has a similar plan in the middle of the map, but this attack, oh, it does get scanned, I believe, from DDE. Is he going to be able to support this? That is just a huge amount of tanks in the back of DDE's main base, Jill.
Yeah, there are so many tanks back there, and it's going to be extremely annoying for DDE to try to deal with this. He's going to counter drop at the top left, and that is precisely what I would do. I would give these buildings up, siege up, hold your ground, and try to do some sort of counterattack, because with that many tanks, unless you go to the skies, it's going to be extremely frustrating to deal with. And this is doing a huge amount of damage. DDE still has the supply advantage, and now countering at the top left. He's got a lot of Marines, 2-1 upgrades there, 2 being the attack, moving forward, taking out the Marines, and he's going to shut down his top left expansion. KawaiiRice trying to bring back tanks to siege up, but Marines do so well against tanks when they're not grouped up. Now finally Marines being brought back for KawaiiRice is going to be able to clean that up, and meanwhile the siege continues in the main base of DDE.
Yeah, he's actually cleaned up this entire left side of the main base of DDE. Has not moved any further though, because of course he does have some medevacs in the back, but he was dealing with those drops. You see the Venn diagram here of the sensor towers from KawaiiRice, so he will be able to see any drops at his main or his natural. Here comes a scan coming out for DDE, for KawaiiRice, but there's a Viking from DDE. So we'll allow him to actually see and actually shoot a little bit further with those siege tanks. But that's a lot of tanks at his back, and that is going to be incredibly hard to engage.
You know, I would love, with DDE, with his little bit of supply advantage here, I would love to see him switch into Thors. A few Thors backed by Marines here, he would crush through a tank line so easily. But in-game, when you're feeling the pressure, it's really difficult to make that situation. Looks to make that decision. He's trying to siege up on the low ground to flank these tanks, but that is not going to work. He's going to lose a lot of them. Landing the Viking actually dealing a lot of damage, but he is just crumbling apart here in his main base, and his macro is feeling the burn as well, going up to 1,500 minerals, trying to drive forward. Yes, he is going to clean it up, but he has lost a lot of production potential while trying to clean that up.
Yeah, actually a little bit of a mishap there from KawaiiRice. He was using these tanks to actually shell these destructible rocks, and that is why these 3 tanks were able to do a ton of damage there and actually end that attack. But if you look back into the main of DD, he's adding on 4 racks for a total of, it looks to be 8 in the main. Double expoing here in the south, right next to his natural, as he does have quite a few of SCVs. 92 SCVs, Chill, for DDE. That is quite a bit.
And KawaiiRice able to keep pace because he's using his mules. Oh, looks like DD has found out about that E button, so he has dropped all the energy on those command centers as well. Some Marines over here at the right side seem to be stranded at the third of DDE, going to get sniped by the Marines. Meanwhile, upgrades are going to be 2-1 for both players. Looking at the production tab, we can see both going towards +3 attack. DDE going to move towards +3 armor. KawaiiRice saying armor is for sissies and not even going to bother.
I guess that's respectable, but look at this army right now of KawaiiRice, Chill. That is just an insane amount of tanks and Marines. Right. And it looks like he's going for the same attack here, going up to the 12 o'clock position and going straight for the main. There are 2 tanks, but they will not be able to see that far. And a ton of missile turrets actually coming in from DDE here at the very, very north. He's going to try to drop on these tanks, it looks like. He will be very successful. There's not a planetary fortress here for DDE as well, but DDE doing the same thing down in the south, Chill.
Yeah, this is an amazing position for KawaiiRice, and DDE has walked into this yet again, building all his barracks, and looks like the drop from KawaiiRice is going to get sniped and get shut down, and now he has no vision of that high ground unless he brings in this other medevac from the side. DDE trying to do the same thing back in KawaiiRice's main base, but KawaiiRice has smartly moved all his buildings away from that ledge, so DDE is going to have to venture into the main base, which he is more than happy to do, starting to work on all these buildings. We've got a little bit of a base trade, but DDE is losing his third base. In the meantime, he's setting up the bottom right. He's still got control of the center just a little bit. This game has devolved into madness. KawaiiRice trying to flank and take out the low ground tanks. He's successful. DDE still controls the high ground, taking out some units there with his Marines. KawaiiRice has now lost position on the high ground of DDE's main base, but he's broken the third. I don't know who got the better of this.
Well, we see right now that in the main base of KawaiiRice, a lot of those production facilities have been taken out. They're also under shell right now, so I feel like DDE is kind of in favor right now, but at the same time, he's down to 0 mining bases. So that is not good whatsoever. Actually, looking at his income, it is 0 right now, Chill. There are 65 idle harvesters currently on the map for DDE.
There they go. There goes the congregation to the Klondike. All those SCVs getting to work, and looks like he's going to take this dangerous third again. I don't know why he's not mining at the bottom right. Yeah,
I'm not too sure, but if anything, that was a Banelin's wet dream right there, Chill, with all those SCVs. Here's KawaiiRice, a ton of Marines, as we see what this attack was cleaned up in the main base of KawaiiRice, and now, oh no, the Marines coming in. They will be falling to these 2 tanks, getting quite a bit of kills. actually being lifted back up once again. Tanks almost everywhere here in the back of DDE's base, and KawaiiRice is going to be denied entry.
You know, JP, I'm wondering what this game would have looked like had DDE taken bottom right as his third, because this has just been such a fantastic opportunity for harassment, sieging and getting shots at both the main base and the third of DDE. KawaiiRice with just now a single tank going to work. That's going to get shut down as the tanks siege up on the high ground. But when the dust settles, we're sitting at about even supplies. I feel like KawaiiRice has now had a little bit of map control, so he's going to use that to break through the middle, and that's going to free up access to the bottom right. Let's see how DDE's response to this. No, KawaiiRice going to go for the third.
We see him maybe thinking of engaging. At the same time, there are 4 unsieged tanks here in the main base of KawaiiRice, but these Marines with the 2-3 upgrades will be able to take 3 of them out, and DDE is going to be falling back. In fact, didn't do too much damage there, but did kill quite a bit of those tanks. If we go into the unit counting station, we've got a total of 7 tanks for KawaiiRice, 10 for DDE, 73, 68 SCVs respectively. Quite a bit of medevacs for DDE right now as well.
Yeah, we've got KawaiiRice making 2 more factories in the top. No add-ons yet, so maybe there they go. Just as I say that, that's the caster's name.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So scan going off as KawaiiRice moves through the center. If he's able to isolate these bases, it's going to be a big deal, but there's a lot of surface area
the
here.
Big push, chill. Siege things up for KawaiiRice. Now siege mode for DDE, and actually the Marines pulled back there. Smart play from DDE. There's nothing really to scout for either player. This is a big standoff.
KawaiiRice continuing to be annoying at the northern area, going to drop, and DDE is equal to the task, unsieging almost instantly. I'm not sure how he saw that so quickly, but that was sick reaction time from him. Those tanks are going to siege up to defend that third base yet again, and I cannot wait for that to mine out so DDE can just let it go and push towards the southern area, continue expanding towards the main down there.
See this huge kind of great wall of siege from DDE. KawaiiRice does not want to engage that. You see some more tanks sieging over here, getting some big shots onto all the Marines here. The better upgrades going out for DDE as they are 2-3, 1-3 for KawaiiRice. But once again, we see a command center lift, and he's actually stopped mining from this third base. I'm not exactly sure why though.
Must have been some sort of run by, or he was just nervous about about losing that base. I like that both players have begun to upgrade their mechanical units as well. +2 on the tanks does a lot of damage once those Marines start to stack up. That's what KawaiiRice has. Meanwhile, DDE has +1 on his tanks. We've got a run by into the third yet again being lifted, and that is probably going to go down.
Yep, that is most certainly going to go down. There's another stim coming out for those Marines, and he gets it. Also just kind of shoving his entire force up here into DDE's third. There is still this huge wall, and there is still a bajillion SCVs idle for DDE right now. Going into income, 69 for DDE, 76 for KawaiiRice. KawaiiRice actually mining quite a bit. DDE just now started mining as his income was 0. KawaiiRice falling back a little bit too.
Is long
distance
distance
drop
mine.
with the 6, chill.
Yeah. We've got a huge amount of DDE units moving in. He's going to drop the first medevac, and now he's going to move forward and shut down the production. But smartly, KawaiiRice has moved the majority of his productions out of his main base, so that's not going to do too much damage. He'll be able to kill all the tech structures and kill these supply depots, especially the ones with supplies dropped on top of them. So that's going to be annoying, but he's not going to completely limit the production capabilities of KawaiiRice.
Right now, KawaiiRice actually doing the elevator trick here with a billion Marines, but a little bit of a misclick. They are getting shelled as some try to wrap around. That is quite a bit of tanks and Marines for DDEs, taking out so many of those supply depots that we were talking about, and now pushing into the natural of KawaiiRice, but the tanks are going to be able to take those out at the same time. Looks like all those forces were shelled by DDE here. Did have quite a few tanks in defense. 160 of 148 for KawaiiRice, as this is still continuing in his main base.
You know, KawaiiRice has really spread DDE very thin. If he unsieged his tanks, dropped all his Marines, and just broke through the middle, he would break through that easily and get a stronghold on the center, which would be so nice for him. But of course, he doesn't have map hack on, so he can't see that. Continuing to siege at the bottom. He loves this position on Shakur's plateau, so he's going to set it up yet again and try to go to work on the 6 o'clock main of DDE, but unfortunately DDE is equal to the task. He's got the tanks all sieged up. He's brought back a lot of medevacs, and that's where his eyes are focused. It worked the first time because DDE wasn't, you know, sitting there waiting, prepared for it, but now it's obvious. The one thing I like that KawaiiRice is doing behind this, he's expanding quite a bit. He realizes he's got full map control. He doesn't have to worry. He's taking another inside base and dropping another command center.
Yeah, I do like the fact that KawaiiRice kind of knows that it's really going to come down to an economy game here. And he's actually trying to attack this fourth down here at the 5 o'clock, but he's also denied that would be third base if you were spawning there just by simply placing his tanks and his Marines where he is. So he's kind of going to win in the war of attrition here. So you see him thinking about expanding once again to his third base right outside. So if we look at the tab, DDE is actually supply capped right now. Oh, there's a big drop for DDE right at his main. It's going to go ahead and cut all the way over to the left and take out quite a bit more of these depots, of this base, and also of these unit producing structures.
You know, let's see how quickly KawaiiRice can get back there. He's now in sensor tower range, so DDE flying in. That's a planetary at the pocket expansion, flying right over the sensor tower. There are a lot of supply depots back here, as well as 2 factories, which is the majority of the production for tanks for KawaiiRice. So that's going to be extremely hurtful to lose that. He's also going to lose the orbital. Maybe if it gets focused, SCV's trying to repair it. DDE takes that down easily. Is he going to stand and fight? No, the tanks siege up, but he could pull back. He's got a nice arc here if he chooses to use it, and yes, he turns back and starts to work on the KawaiiRice Marines. There's a little bit of a dance back and forth. Meanwhile, at the bottom right, KawaiiRice has position finally on DDE. He's going to work shelling on these SCVs. Tanks siege up, but they don't have vision. Marines coming to give vision, so that's going to kill. No, that doesn't even kill the tank.
Yeah, huge Marine on Marine here. It looks like KawaiiRice is, I thought was going to get better at that, but then I forgot that there are 7 medevacs up in the sky. So they are quite good. Chill. Long distance mining for some reason here for KawaiiRice over in his third. But this drop is doing quite a bit of damage, and it is finally going to be able to get cleaned up there for KawaiiRice. And I kind of feel that right now this game is in favor of KawaiiRice, Chill.
Yeah, the wheels have come off a little bit for DDE. His production still looks good when you look at all his barracks, but he's got 4K in the bank. He can't be afraid to slam down, you know, 7 more barracks and hotkey them and hold that A key. But I mean, if we materialized all these 4,000 minerals into Marines, imagine what he could do with that.
Yeah, that would do very well. We see some nice positioning here with these tanks in the south. And it looks like DDE might just shove into this attack from... Nope, he's just going to inch up about an inch, literally. Try to get another attack onto those siege tanks, but he's just out of the distance. You can't see the ring here for the siege tank. That's a huge amount of Marines and siege tanks in the middle. And is DDE going to go for yet another drop up here, Chill?
I don't know. I feel like KawaiiRice is on the back foot and expecting the drops. I'd like to see him actually just push through the north and push down to this inside top left pocket expansion. Looks like he's going to walk right under a medevac, so he takes that out, and looks like he's going to cruise on down. He's got a scan, so he knows it's coming. He's got a siege up, but instead he's going to stim and move forward, and his Marine's getting stuck a little bit.
No.
The tank's doing so much damage, but he gets the better of it. Going to kill a large portion of KawaiiRice's defense, and now he's able to move his tanks forward, and he's actually going to drop up top to take out these tanks as well.
Going to be very successful. We see the inch up here from DDE with his tanks. He's going to completely wipe out those forces on the lower ground. Now he started on that planetary fortress. At the same time, we see another drop here right outside the 30s. He's almost cleaned up the siege on his base, but this is just doing so much damage. He does take out the command center. There are a handful of tanks he might just lift up. No, it looks like he will be losing a lot of those Marines, if not all of them. And these tanks will be able to, well, maybe not. He's got quite a few SCVs, but at the same time, minerals are very precious at this stage in the game. And he might just give up on this planetary as all the SCVs are on auto repair, it looks like, as they are repairing themselves and not the planetary.
And KawaiiRice's last mining base is the bottom left pocket expansion. There's a drop that's sitting just away from it. There we go. Stimming and moving in, and that's going to shut down the last mining base for KawaiiRice, as that planetary was eventually taken out by the siege tanks. KawaiiRice bringing in some Vikings to clean up some medevacs, but he is not mining. This command center going to get repaired as KawaiiRice struggles to get over. He's got positions still on that bottom right expansion, but DDE has finally got enough tanks to block access to from KawaiiRice shelling the minerals, and KawaiiRice is quickly running out of options here.
We see if we look back, DDE just has a huge force in between his bases in the center of the map. If we go into the army size, it is quite big. Supply difference, 198 for DDE, 119. And really all DDE has to do is just kind of shove in for the final attack right now, Chill.
Yeah, this was an old-fashioned slugfest. I mean, big props to DDE for holding it down. KawaiiRice trying to get it done, stimming and spreading his Marines to take out these siege tanks. But DDE coming in with the northeastern flank, gonna move through with these stim Marines and siege tanks, which are completely unsieged. And that is the last line of defense for KawaiiRice, unless he can float his entire base down to the bottom right, as that's the last contingent on the map for KawaiiRice. DDE has broken through the center. He's able to now move towards the pocket expansion, shut down mining for KawaiiRice, and that's going to be it.
It's in a G for KawaiiRice coming out.
They were stacked up on top of each other. We could only see one.
This is true. What a great, and I mean, you said it yourself, what a great slugfest there. 42-minute game, TVP between KawaiiRice, of course, from Fnatic MSI, and DDE from Six Jacks Gaming. DDE taking game 1. Of course, in this tournament, the loser will pick the next map. Chill, what do you really think kind of won that game for DDE?
I think I think KawaiiRice got in the mindset where he wanted to abuse the terrain, and while I really love a player who tactically sits and uses terrain to his advantage, it was the second time it was just easily defended by DDE, whereas DDE was more on the map, trying different options. He was dropping in different positions and then finally sieged up and took down that pocket expansion. I'm really curious how DDE got so much more money than KawaiiRice. I mean, he had the SCV advantage,
that's true,
but he lost it when he lost the pocket expansion.
Right.
KawaiiRice had 5 bases, which was basically the same as what DDE had, but he was always starving for minerals. There was a point where he was repairing his command center, and he actually had 0 minerals. So
right.
I'm not sure how he was starving for minerals so much, but there must have been some sort of cost inefficiency there that just between what he was doing and DDE was doing.
I mean, at one moment in that game, DDE did have probably 8 or so mules saved up, so he might have just dropped the mules and really not had the production facility to actually make a ton of units, and that's where it was all saved up. But chill. We're going to get game 2 started here in just a little bit. Before we do that, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, guys. When we come back, it's going to be game 2 between Six Jacks DDE and Fnatic MSI KawaiiRice. We'll see you then.